Hi, my name's Phil from 4thirty and welcome to my channel and welcome to part 4 of my Ferrari Replica build. In this episode we're going to be fitting a working door handle and also installing the rear deck. Stay tuned. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications and give me that thumbs up if you like it. And if you want to support this channel, take a look at my Patreon page. I'll put the link down here. Let's go. So now we take a look at creating the door handles, and to do that we use a standard corner cabinet hinge. But what we need to do is we need to cut off or grind off these flanges here where the screws usually go to bolt one part of the hinge on. So we just need to cut those off and get them out of the way. Once you've done that, that will end up looking like this, because here's one that we did earlier. This one has been keyed ready for bonding later on. The good thing about using these types of hinges is that they are detachable from the holding clip by pressing the button at the back and lifting up like so. This plate is supplied in the kit and is bolted to the door at the position shown. The holding plate for the hinge is then bolted to this bracket as shown. That enables us to easily clip this on and be able to remove it, because don't forget all the access panel in the side of the door, so we can just remove the clip like so through the hole of the handle. We now need to purchase some builder strap like this and cut it down to about 9 inches long. You then need to put a twist in it so it looks like this. So we then bolt it to the door handle. We have the MR2 with a couple of bolts, and when you lift it up like that, that part of it needs to be 90 degrees below the actual hinge. Then, using some bicycle brake cable, you thread that through a hole in the bottom of the hinge and through one of the holes in the builder's strap, pulling it tight. You then need to purchase some solderless nipples, so you've got a hole through with a screw to tighten it up, and thread that onto the end of the cable. Push it all the way up to the builder's strap and take up the bite point, and then tighten this up obviously with a screwdriver. I'm just using my hand here. From that point now, when you lift up the hinge, it will lift up the MR2 handle and open the door. The hinge itself should just be proud of the cutout in the actual door panel to allow for bonding. So what you need is to take the actual supplied handle and bond it onto the top of the head of that hinge like so. You need to really get the thickness of this correct so it's not too proud and it's not catching, because the hinge actually operates like this. The hinge itself can now be removed using the access hole that we created in the end of the door panel by pressing the button, unclipping it and lifting it up through the hole like so. To reinstall, just push it through, engage the front hooks and press until you hear the click at the back. The next step will be then to score up the top side of the hinge and the bottom side of the handle, ready for when we're going to use some bond to bond the two pieces together into this position. So next, using some fiberglass filler paste, we are going to bond the handle onto the hinge. This has now been completed and dried, and if you're looking from this end now, you can see that it's bonded into the correct position. We can easily remove it by pressing that clip as shown earlier, and the whole handle will then come out of the door. Now if you look at the end of the hinge, there's a couple of press marks. What we're going to do is going to drill right through both of these press marks at the top of the hinge there and create some holes, and we're going to use those holes to add some nuts and bolts to secure the handle even more onto the door. The last thing we want is this handle to come off. We have now drilled right through the hinge and the handle to create 2 holes, and then we countersunk those holes so that we can fit a nut and a bolt like so, to again secure the handle onto the hinge. We then need to grind off the excess length of the bolts so it's flush with the actual handle, and this will be all filled and primed ready by the body shop. So So now thread back through the bicycle brake cable, and we can now fit the handle back in. So first of all, thread the cable through the hole. Again, use the access panel to pull the excess cable through. You don't need to have the cable this long to do this bit, because you don't need that much cable. And clip the hinge back into place. We then thread the cable through a hole in the end of the builder strap that we bolted to the MR2 door handle, pull through the excess, and then using the solderless nipple we feed that onto the end of the wire, push that all the way up to the bottom of the builder strap, take up any slack, then using a screwdriver tighten the screw as tight as you possibly can. We then tuck in the excess cable into the end of the door. And here is the door handle working exactly as it would on a real Ferrari. So next I thought we'd tackle the rear frame, which is supplied in the kit along with these hinges. First of all, as you can see, the hinges there, the hole at the top has got a vertical slot, and if you look at the frame there's a horizontal slot, so basically the bolts just go straight through, giving you plenty of up, down, left, right adjustments. And here is the hinge fitted to the frame, but I made a schoolboy error here. Can you spot it? Yes, if you look, I've left the bolts sticking out this side, so if you compress that hinge from the bottom, you'll see the parts of the hinge will contact on the bolts and obviously won't work correctly. Didn't realise that until I put it in the car and tried to load the frame down. So it was just a matter of taking these bolts out and turning them round so the bolt head was on this side, giving you the gap to allow the arms to go past the bolts. Next, the stop adjusters need to be fitted. Now this was the supplied stop adjuster, but you can see it's got this lug here, but the hole in the actual frame was just a circle. So what I did, I took a Stanley knife and I cut this piece out, and it now looked like this. These are then fitted to the frame with one either side at the front of the frame, and one either side at the rear of the frame. I then tried to fit the frame latches to the frame, but as you can see here, the slot for these latches is nowhere big enough. So I had to enlarge the hole with the drill just until the actual latch fit in the hole. I then installed the frame to the car. As you can see, I've changed the bolts around for the hinge where they meet the frame, and also used the packers that are supplied with the kit. You put these packers between the bolts and the actual back panel of the car. If you look to the left of this picture, you can see you need to measure 62mm between the rear end of the car at this point and the rear end of the frame, and need to set the frame in that position. Looking underneath the car, the fixing bolts for the hinges, I found that the small supplied washers were actually digging into the fiberglass, so I decided to change these out for these large penny washers. To install the supplied engine lid gas rams, you also need to drill a hole in the MR2 frame as shown here by the red arrow. And again, when I did this, I found that the pressure of the gas ram on the frame was bending it. So I decided to fit penny washers on both sides of this bolt to give it much more strength. Next was the installation of the retaining catches for the rear frame. So what you do is take the catch and click it onto the rear frame. You can then lower the frame into position, and when in position, just move the catch and line it up just so left and right there's a little bit of movement, so it's in the centre. Once you've got in the right place, you can then mark these holes, you can then remove it all, and you can then drill the holes and bolt the catch down. And here is the catch all nicely bolted in place. I use black nuts and bolts for this because when you do open the rear deck, this part can be seen. I then purchased a handful of these brake adjusters, so that's going to be easy to route the cable through the fiberglass body using these. Here is the brake adjuster installed in the fiberglass body. and we can then secure a piece of brake cable through the hole and through the brake cable adjuster like so. This then allows us to pull this cable, which will then release the catch. We can now check the operation of the frame. So first of all, we lower it down, put it in position, click down the catches, go around the other side and click down that catch as well, and there we go. You can see the frame is nicely fitted and latches down perfectly. Thanks for watching, hope you liked it. If you did, then hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications and give me that thumbs up. Until next time, take care.